Ever feel like some people just, I don't know, magic their dream life into existence? Like, how do they do that?
Yeah, it's definitely a topic that gets people talking.
We're diving into manifestation today, trying to figure out, is it real? Is it just wishful thinking?
A lot of debate around it. Some folks totally skeptical, others swear by it.
That's what makes this deep dive so interesting.
Yeah.
We'll unpack all that, but more importantly, want to give you stuff you can actually use, whether you end up, a believer or just a healthy skeptic.
Exactly, that's the goal.
Because who hasn't wished for something hard, hoping it'd just show up?
Yeah.
But manifestation seems to be more than just, like, vibes. There's mindset stuff, psychology, but then you got to take action, too.
All right. It's not about replacing action. It's almost like amplifying it.
Okay. I'm liking where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
But before we go too deep into the how, let's define what we're even talking about here.
Sure.
When we say manifestation, what's the core concept?
At its core, it's about bringing what you want into reality. And I don't just mean like material things.
Right.
Could be experiences, relationships. But it's using your thoughts, beliefs, and actions in a focused way to make it happen. The idea is that your inner world, it kind of shapes your outer world.
So it's not just think positive and you win the lottery. There's actual work involved.
Yeah, there's definitely some effort involved, for sure.
Our source material talks a lot about the law of attraction, that
Yeah.
whole like attracts like idea. What's the principle there, not just the catchy phrase?
Okay, so the law of attraction, it's about aligning your energy. It's kind of like tuning a radio. If you want classical music, you don't just hope for it. You tune into the right station.
Right.
Your goals are kind of the same. Your thoughts, actions, beliefs, all got to be on the same wavelength.
So intention is key, right?
Yeah.
You can't just kind of vaguely want something.
I got to be specific. That's where clarity comes in. Think of an athlete training for, like, the Olympics. They don't just say, I want to win. They picture themselves crossing the finish line, feeling that victory, the whole thing.
Okay, I get that. So specificity is key. But the million-dollar question, maybe literally if this works, is there any science to back this up?
That's where it gets really interesting. There are some scientific principles that connect to manifestation, but it's not like science proves it. It's more about understanding the how, not just the what.
Okay, so let's get into that how then. The source mentioned something called the reticular activating system, or RAS. What does our brain's filter have to do with all this?
The RAS, it's like your brain's personal assistant. It's sifting through all the information you get every second and decides what's important.
Right.
Like when you learn a new word and suddenly you see it everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's your RAS now tuned into it.
So if I'm always thinking about my goals, is my RAS more likely to, flag opportunities? It's almost like mango priming.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like you're looking for a specific book in a huge library. You go in with that title in mind, and suddenly the right section jumps out at you. Manifestation isn't magical, but it can help you see what you might have missed before.
Interesting. But it's not that the opportunity just appears, because I thought about it. There's still effort involved.
No, absolutely. The universe isn't like a vending machine.
Right.
You got to put in the work. But with a primed RAS, your efforts are way more focused and more likely to get you where you want to go.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. The source also mentioned neuroplasticity, how our brain can rewire itself. How's that tied to manifestation?
Think of your brain kind of like a garden, again. Each thought is like a pathway.
Okay.
The more you walk it down, the more defined it gets. Same with your goals. Visualizing success, doing it over and over, it strengthens those pathways in your brain.
So if I constantly picture myself, let's say, acing that presentation, my brain starts to believe it's more possible, like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but on a neurological level.
Yeah. And it's not just visualizing. Affirmations play a big role, too. Saying things like, I am confident, it doesn't just sound nice. It starts rewiring those self-doubt pathways to ones of confidence.
Okay, so I see how all this fits together. But where does quantum physics enter all of this? That's where things tend to get a little out there.
It's true. Quantum physics is where things get more theoretical. The basic idea is that everything is energy, thoughts included.
Right.
And some theories suggest that changing our internal energy might actually impact the outside world.
So are our thoughts like little energy ripples affecting the pond of reality? It sounds cool, but also a bit sci-fi, honestly.
It's definitely on the frontier of our understanding, but think about it. We know emotions have a physical impact on our bodies. Stress causes tension. Excitement gives you endorphins. Maybe thoughts have a similar effect, just subtler.
Okay, that's a good point. So are we in the realm of possibility, not proven fact, with
Yeah.
quantum physics and manifestation?
Exactly. It's good to be curious, but also critical. The science is still developing, and frankly, that mystery is part of what makes this whole topic so fascinating.
I totally agree. Okay, so we've looked at some potential science. Now let's get practical. How do people actually make this work? The source lays out 5 steps, right?
It does. And they're surprisingly down to earth, too. Nice change from that vague, just wish really hard stuff.
Right. Okay, so step 1, getting clear on what we want. Not just more money, but specifics.
You got it. You got to be crystal clear. Vague desires get you vague results. It's like ordering at a restaurant, I kind of want food, isn't going to get you a delicious meal.
So it's about more than just thinking about what you want, you're making it tangible.
Exactly. Writing your goals down, making a vision board, it forces you to get specific. It's the difference between I want a better job and I want to be head of marketing at Dream Company, making X salary, leading a team.
Ooh, I love the vision board idea. It's like a visual contract you're making with yourself.
Exactly. It keeps your goals front and center, too. Our
Mhm.
brains get so much information all day, clear goals help cut through the noise.
So we've got our goals. What's next?
Step 2, visualization. And doing it daily. It's not a one-time wish, it's building that mental muscle.
So not just daydreaming about goals, but actively picturing them.
That's it. And really engage your senses. Don't just see it, feel the emotions. What does success smell like, even taste like?
Wow, that's intense.
The more vivid it is, the more your brain starts to buy in.
It's like mental rehearsal, like athletes do before a game.
You got it.
Yeah.
And just like with athletes, consistency is key. Practice daily, even a few minutes, it can make a huge difference.
Okay, clear goals, visualizing daily. What's next in our manifestation journey?
Step 3 is affirmations and building self-belief. It's like giving your mind pep talks, but ones that actually work.
Right, so it's more than just repeating any old phrase.
Exactly. You got to replace those doubts with statements that support your goals.
So instead of I'm not good enough, it's more like I am capable and deserving of this. It's retraining your inner dialogue to support your efforts.
You nailed it. And the key is to choose affirmations that really resonate with you. Not generic stuff, but ones tied to your specific goals.
So for example, if my goal is to start my own business, my affirmation might be, I am resourceful and creative, I can make this happen.
Exactly. And the more you repeat these, the more your subconscious mind starts to believe them too. That shift can change how you act, the choices you make, and that leads to different results.
This is where I think some people trip up, though.
Yeah.
They focus so much on the mental side, they forget about the actual doing.
Which brings us to step 4, inspired action. This is where manifestation goes from just wishing to actually co-creating.
So we can't just sit back and wait for the universe to drop our dream in our lap. We got to meet it halfway.
Precisely. Think back to that RAS thing. Now your brain's primed to see those opportunities, and taking action becomes even more crucial. It's like you've set the stage, now you got to perform.
So it's about being proactive, taking opportunities that come up, making choices that fit with your goals.
You got it. The universe doesn't speak English, it speaks action. Show it what you're serious about.
Okay, so we've got our goals, we're visualizing, affirming, taking action.
Mm-hmm.
What's the final step in this whole manifestation process?
The final step, and maybe the hardest for some people, is letting go. Trusting the process.
That sounds almost like a contradiction. How can we let go, but also work towards our goals? Isn't that giving up?
Not at all. It's about releasing the need to control every single outcome. Think of it like planting a seed. You water it, give it sunlight, but you can't force it to grow.
Okay, yeah.
You got to trust the natural process.
So it's surrendering, trusting the journey, even when we can't see the whole path laid out for us, that the universe is working, even when it feels like nothing's happening.
You got it. Patience becomes super important here. Manifestation often takes time. It's easy to get discouraged if you don't see results right away, but that can actually block the good stuff that's coming your way.
Right. If you keep digging up a seed to see if it sprouted, you're probably going to kill it before it has a chance.
Exactly. Trust, patience, and consistency, those are key. If you master those, that's when you start seeing your manifestations really come to life. Like you wouldn't keep opening the oven every 2 seconds to check if your cake is done right. Gotta trust the recipe and be patient.
Cake. Okay, I see your point. Trusting the process is key. But speaking of things that can go wrong, what about those common mistakes people make when they try to manifest? What separates those who get results from those who just, daydream?
Oh, there are a few big ones. Doubt and negativity, those are at the top of the list. Remember neuroplasticity? Well, if you keep feeding your brain doubt, you're making those pathways stronger, making it even harder to manifest what you want.
So even if I'm doing the visualizing, the affirmations, taking action, if deep down I think this won't work,
Yeah.
I'm actually sabotaging myself.
Yeah, it's like driving with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. You might move a little, but you're creating a lot of resistance. The first step is to just notice that negative self-talk, become aware of it.
Makes sense. And I'm guessing another mistake is, well, lack of action. Like we talked about, the universe seems to reward those who actually do something, not just those who wish for it.
You got it. Manifestation is a partnership you co-create with the universe. Sitting on the couch, visualizing $1,000,000 won't do much unless you're also taking steps to, earn it.
So it's about taking inspired action, doing things that feel aligned with your goal, moving you closer, even if it's just a small step at a time.
Exactly. It's about momentum. The universe responds to movement, to energy in motion.
And I think a huge e-manifestation blocker is impatience. We want results now, and if they don't show up, we give up.
Impatience, that's a real killer. Think of it like this. You plant a garden, but then get all bummed out because you don't have a blooming rose bush the next day. You gotta nurture those seeds, be consistent, trust that growth takes time.
Right, it's playing the long game,
Yeah.
trusting that things are happening, even if we can't see them yet.
Exactly. Okay, now before we get into some specific success stories, there's another important thing about manifestation we should talk about. It's something that doesn't get enough attention, but it's really crucial for making sure we're doing this ethically and responsibly.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Tell me more. What is it?
Critical thinking. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of manifestation and all that, but we need to be smart about it. Question assumptions, don't fall into traps that could be harmful.
So it's like balance that open-minded, anything is possible feeling with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. And it starts with being wary of anyone who says they have all the answers or that there's a guaranteed formula for success.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all magic spell.
Mhm.
Manifestation is a personal journey. What works for one person might not work for another.
And we also need to be careful with the language we use. The idea of attracting things, while it's popular, can sometimes make it seem like what we want is separate from us.
Do you mean like those things are out there and we have to somehow pull them into our reality?
Exactly. I think it's more helpful to think of it as alignment. It's not about attracting something external. It's about becoming a vibrational match for what we want to create.
Okay, so instead of saying, I'm going to attract my soulmate, I might say, I'm becoming the kind of person who is ready for a loving relationship. It's about embodying those qualities, beliefs, and actions that match my goals.
You got it. It's about realizing we already have the potential for those experiences within us. Manifestation is about aligning ourselves with that truth.
That's a powerful shift in perspective. It puts us back in the driver's seat. We're not just waiting for fate, but actively shaping our reality.
And that's where real empowerment comes in. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? That leads us to another crucial aspect of critical thinking when it comes to manifestation.
Ooh, okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. What is it?
Recognizing the difference between correlation and causation. Just because someone was successful after they tried some manifestation techniques doesn't mean those techniques were the only reason for their success.
There could be other things going on, right? Hard work, talent, being in the right place at the right time, maybe even just plain luck.
Exactly. We can't oversimplify things and ignore the fact that human experience is complex. Just because someone manifested their dream life doesn't mean it's a guaranteed formula for everyone.
That's a good point. It's inspiring to hear those stories, but we also have to remember that their journey is not our journey. Everyone's path is unique.
Precisely. And that brings us to another key point when thinking critically about manifestation.
Okay, I'm hooked. What is it?
It's being aware of the potential downsides and ethical implications of all this. For example, some people worry that if we only focus on our own desires and manifesting abundance for ourselves, it could lead to a sense of entitlement. Like we don't care about others.
Right, it's finding that balance between personal goals and being responsible towards others. Be a good person. Our wants shouldn't hurt other people or the planet.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the impact of our actions. Another potential problem is that people might start blaming themselves for bad things that happen.
Oh yeah, I can see that. If you believe you can manifest anything, You might also start to think you're responsible for everything that happens to you, both good and bad.
Right. And that can be really harmful, especially for people who are already struggling with self-doubt or past trauma. Life is unpredictable, and there are many things we just can't control.
Right. We can't fall into that trap of thinking every bad thing that happens is our fault or because of some bad vibes we're putting out.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between taking responsibility for our own choices, but also accepting the things we can't change. And talking about potential pitfalls, we have to watch out for people who might try to take advantage of others who just want a better life.
Oh, you mean like those manifest your dream life in 3 easy steps programs you see everywhere?
Yeah, those. Some programs might have good stuff, but a lot of them are just preying on people's vulnerabilities, making promises they can't keep, saying they have quick fixes and guaranteed results that are just not realistic.
It's like anything else, right? Some people just want to make a quick buck off of popular trends, whether they're actually offering something useful or not.
That's the truth. So be careful out there. Do your research, find trustworthy sources, and listen to your gut. If something feels off, it probably is.
Right. Use your common sense to separate the real from the fake.
Yeah.
But even with those potential downsides, if you practice manifestation responsibly, it can be a really powerful tool for growth and transformation.
You got it. At its core, it's about aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with what you truly desire. And that process of self-reflection, setting goals, and living with intention can be really empowering.
It's about taking charge of your life,
Right.
not just accepting whatever happens, but actively creating your reality.
Exactly. And even if you don't always manifest those specific things exactly how you pictured them, the process itself can help you become more self-aware, give you clarity and purpose.
It's like you're building a deeper relationship with yourself, understanding your wants, your values, what truly brings you joy.
Precisely. And that self-awareness can influence all areas of your life, relationships, career, your overall well-being. Speaking of positive effects, manifestation can also help you be more optimistic.
You mean shifting from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance?
Exactly. When you focus on what you want and visualize positive outcomes, you start to believe those things are possible, and that belief creates hope, which can be incredibly powerful.
It's like training your brain to look for the good, to expect good things to happen. That leads to more gratitude and happiness.
You got it. It's not just about getting what you want, it's about becoming the best version of yourself along the way.
So even though manifestation isn't a magic solution to all of life's problems, it can be a useful tool for personal growth and creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But with all this talk about taking action and surrendering to the process, I'm curious.
About what?
How do we know when to do which? It seems like a tricky balance to find.
That's a great question. If it's all about aligning our energy with action,
Mhm.
how do we know when to push forward and when to just step back and trust?
There's no easy answer. A lot of it comes down to intuition, to being able to sense what's right. Think of it like this. Manifestation is a dance between you and the universe. You bring your desires and actions. The universe brings events and opportunities that match your goals.
So it's like we have a cosmic dance partner guiding us toward our best selves, but sometimes we step on each other's toes.
Exactly. And just like any dance, there are times to lead and times to follow. You lead when you feel inspired, when you have energy to take action, opportunities show up, you feel excited, aligned. That's your cue to step up.
It's that gut feeling that, heck yeah, let's do this, energy that pushes us forward. But what about when things feel stuck or we hit a roadblock? Is that when we need to switch to following mode?
Often, yes. Obstacles, delays you can't control, feeling frustrated, that might be the universe saying, hold on a sec, I'm working on something behind the scenes. That's where surrender and trust come in.
That's hard though, right?
Yeah.
We live in a world where we want everything right now. But maybe the universe has its own timeline, one that will be better for us in the end, even if we can't see it yet.
Exactly. Think of it like a GPS. Sometimes the fastest route isn't the best one. The universe might be taking you on a detour that, while annoying at the time, leads to a more scenic, more fulfilling destination.
I like that.
Oh.
So it's about learning to tell the difference between when to take the wheel and when to trust the cosmic GPS to guide us. Now, let's talk about real-world examples. Our source mentions some famous success stories, like Jim Carrey.
Ah, yes, the classic $10 million check story. Back when Jim Carrey was still trying to make it as an actor, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated it for Thanksgiving 1995.
Hold on, he actually wrote a check, like a real check he carried around.
He did. And he visualized himself achieving that level of success. He truly believed it was possible.
And what happened? Did the universe come through?
Right before Thanksgiving 1995, he got a $10 million deal for his role in Dumb and Dumber.
Whoa! Talk about manifestation in action.
It's an incredible story, shows the power of belief, visualization, and commitment. But as inspiring as it is, it's important to remember that Jim Carrey's story is just one example.
Right, it's not a magic formula that guarantees if you write yourself a check.